So let's talk tech. 2016 was kind of a weird year, and in general and in technology, we saw drones fall out of the sky, smartphones blowing up, and people getting hacked, companies getting hacked. It was just a crazy year in general. But a lot of interesting things happened, and I think it'll really make a big difference looking forward into 2017. Let's start with VR and AR. So we saw the launch of a lot of large platforms such as the Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive, the PlayStation VR, but overall, there's still a general lack of great content. And I think we'll see a lot more content this year, but I don't know if we'll see content that makes consumers go out and feel compelled to buy these things. And secondly, it's really expensive for a good headset. You're gonna be paying more than $700, $800 in order to get the headset itself, and that's not including the hardware that you need to power the headset, such as a computer or the PlayStation. So I think in general, this year we'll see a lot more content for VR. I don't know if it'll gain mainstream traction this year, but there will definitely be an increase in its presence, and you'll see that throughout the year. And I still kind of think that VR is really cool and it's kind of available to use, but its uses are kind of limited to a more entertainment use, whereas AR is a lot cooler in my opinion. It has more practical uses, like information overlays on top of what we currently see. I feel like that is the future of this technology in general. So let's talk smartphones. 2016 was an iterative year to say the least. Nothing really groundbreaking came, but it was still interesting due to some controversy. Let's start off with probably the biggest one was the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 exploding, and the way that Samsung handled it, which in my opinion was very poor, and it was just made for a huge debacle, and I think really hurt Samsung's reputation. And moving forward into 2017, I think Samsung's got a lot of work to do. I think they make great devices, and I think 2017 will be a year where they come back even stronger. The next big thing was the iPhone 7, and mostly because of the lack of a headphone jack. And this caused a huge controversy, but moving forward, we're seeing kind of rumors that a lot of other companies are going to follow suit and also kill off the headphone jack. So maybe 2017 will be the year where we can finally move past wired headphones. I certainly hope so. I don't think right at the moment we're there, but hopefully maybe in a year we'll be there. And possibly the highlight of this year is the Google Pixel. I mean, Google finally clamped down and said, hey, we're going to make a great phone, we're going to market the crap out of it, and we're going to place it everywhere. And they did that. They made a great phone overall in the Pixel, and I think they focused on a lot more of the software experience and what the best Android experience could be. And I think moving into 2017, we'll see Google focus a little more on the hardware, which a lot of the critiques of the Pixel were they were a little bland, and I think we'll see a lot of that. And lastly, probably my favorite thing to look forward to in smartphones in 2017 is edge-to-edge displays. Wow, these things are freaking sexy. Talking about the Xiaomi Mi Mix that we saw this year, and I think we'll see a lot more of those. Rumors are the iPhone will have it, and I'm guessing the Samsung Galaxy line or whatever they decide to maybe rebrand it will definitely feature these edge-to-edge displays. So it's kind of shaping up to be a great year for smartphones. Next, moving on to one of my personal favorites. I love cars, and I love the advancement in autonomous cars that we're seeing today. And in 2016, they really grew in popularity. There's the Tesla Autopilot finally being green-lighted for almost all of the Tesla users to be able to use. But of course, with that, we also saw the death of someone who was using Autopilot, which really brought into the perspective the more ethical and philosophical side of using a self-driving car. And I think these are discussions that are going to be probably the most important ones in terms of autonomous cars that we'll have in the near future. And I think that we really need some sort of governing body that's a little more fast-paced to keep up with the advancements in technology we're seeing. Another major thing was Uber actually pushing for testing of their autonomous vehicles in cities like San Francisco and Pittsburgh. These were met with a lot of kind of skepticism, and Uber is still pushing a lot of them through, even with opposition from local governments. Still, overall, I'm really exciting, and I think that autonomous vehicles are coming faster than we think they are. And I think the one biggest thing, as I mentioned earlier, will be the government regulations that are holding them back. But I'm still excited. I've seen a lot of crazy driving over this holiday season, and I definitely think that this is one of the most important technological innovations, just from a humanitarian perspective and the amount of lives it could save overall. Let's talk security and privacy. In 2016, we saw a lot of hacking, and mainly in the 2016 election we saw, and that brought with it a lot of controversy. And I think and I think that in 2017 we'll see a lot more of governments focusing on cybersecurity, and specifically also businesses placing a lot more focus on cybersecurity. Honestly, right now would probably be one of the best times to start a cybersecurity firm. If you have any type of expertise in it, I would highly recommend it. So 2016 was a huge year for drones. It kind of got that mainstream recognition that we see with a lot of the other technologies, but we especially saw them in a lot of YouTube videos. And probably the biggest rivalry from this year in terms of a technological standpoint was the DJI Mavic versus the GoPro Karma. And unfortunately, the GoPro Karma started to fall out of the skies, and GoPro will be back in 2017 and they'll fix whatever issues, and we'll be shipping out the Karma. But in 2017, we'll still see a lot of the drone companies playing catch up to DJI. And probably the other big drone news was Amazon made its first drone delivery in the UK, which from the time it took for the person to place the order to the time the package got to his door was an insane 13 minutes. And this was in the UK. It was crazy to hear something like that. And I think we'll see a lot more regulation type of news with that, and the potential is definitely there and it will come. It's just a matter of passing all the government regulations.
This is a big year for AI overall. We saw the introduction and proliferation of a lot of voice-based AIs, such as Google Home and Amazon's Alexa, which both gained extreme popularity towards the end of the year. And I still think they have a decent amount of work in order to be fully functional, but I think that this year the development will progress even further as more and more people use the device and the companies have more data to work with. But probably the biggest news from 2016 had to be Google's DeepMind, which is their research branch, developing an AI that beat the best Go player in the world, and scientists thought that this would not be possible for another 5 to 10 years. So it kind of shows that things are moving along a lot faster than we think. I think that this year there'll be more breakthroughs and more practical applications of AI in our daily lives. So 2016 was definitely a very interesting year, and I'm looking forward to what 2017 brings in the world of technology.